The swarm arrives. The first time Commander Maya Chen saw the alien fleet on long-range sensors, she thought it was a glitch. The quantum detection array aboard the orbital defense station, Vigilant, had never shown such readings before. Thousands of objects moving in perfect unison, approaching from the direction of the Cygnus constellation. "Run diagnostics again," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension building in her chest. The crew of Vigilant represented humanity's first line of defense for New Terra, their first successful interstellar colony and home to over 6 million settlers. Lieutenant Reza Khatri's fingers danced across his console. "Diagnostics clean, Commander. Those signatures are real. I count over 8,000 vessels, moving at 0.3 C and decelerating." Maya stared at the holographic display. New Terra had been humanity's proudest achievement. A habitable world just 12 light-years from Earth, terraformed over decades and now thriving after 50 years of settlement. The colony boasted a modest defense fleet of 43 ships, mostly retrofitted mining vessels, and a handful of actual military craft. "Alert Governor Santiago and activate the Colonial Defense Protocol," Maya commanded, "and get me Captain Walsh on the Dauntless." Within hours, New Terra was on full alert. Governor Elena Santiago stood beside Maya in Vigilance Command Center, watching as the alien fleet entered the outer reaches of their star system. "They haven't responded to any hails," Maya explained. "They're continuing to decelerate on an intercept course." Elena's weathered face showed concern but not panic. At 73, she'd seen humanity overcome countless challenges during the colony's establishment. "Options limited," admitted Captain Darius Walsh as his holographic form appeared beside them. The rugged commander of the HSS Dauntless, New Terra's only proper warship, looked grim. "Even if we recall every vessel in the system, we're outnumbered nearly 200 to 1. Then we evacuate," Elena stated flatly. Maya shook her head. "There's no time, and we don't have enough ships. 6 million people, Governor." The alien fleet came to a complete stop just beyond Mars-equivalent orbit. For tense hours, nothing happened. Then, a single massive vessel detached from the formation and approached, coming to rest 10,000 kilometers from Vigilant. The transmission came through on all frequencies simultaneously. A being appeared on screen, vaguely insectoid with a chitinous exoskeleton gleaming iridescent blue and green. Multiple compound eyes surrounded a central speaking orifice that clicked and vibrated as it communicated. "Attention lesser species. We are the Harvest Swarm. Your world has been selected for integration into our biomass. Resistance is inefficient. You will surrender all biological material and technological resources. You have 1 local rotation to prepare for harvesting." The transmission ended abruptly. "Well, that was concise," Walsh remarked dryly. Maya's mind raced. They didn't even bother with diplomacy. They're absolutely certain of victory. Dr. Sanjay Mehta, New Terra's chief scientist, had been analyzing the transmission. "Commander, I'm detecting something unusual in their communication patterns. There's a carrier wave beneath the message, complex and highly structured. I think they're communicating with each other through this wave." "A hive mind?" Elena asked. "Not exactly," Sanjay replied, excitement building in his voice despite the circumstances. "More like a vast network. Each ship appears to be an individual node, but they share information constantly through this subspace frequency. That's how they move in such perfect coordination." Maya exchanged glances with Walsh. "A single communication network controlling thousands of ships." "Precisely," Sanjay confirmed. "And based on the energy signatures, their weapon systems appear to operate on a frequency very close to their communication band." Walsh's hologram smiled for the first time. "So if we could disrupt that frequency, we might confuse their entire fleet," Maya finished. The next 12 hours were a frenzy of activity. Every engineer, programmer, and scientist on New Terra worked on a solution. Meanwhile, the colony's ships, everything from mining vessels to atmospheric shuttles, were gathered and hastily retrofitted. Maya convened an emergency council with the governor, Captain Walsh, Dr. Mehta, and Chief Engineer Rosie O'Malley, a stocky woman with calloused hands and 20 years of experience building New Terra's infrastructure. "We can't match their firepower," Maya said, "but we don't need to. We just need to confuse them long enough to strike at their command ship." O'Malley grinned broadly. "My team has rigged up jammers using components from our mining equipment. The same oscillating frequencies we use to break apart asteroids should play hell with their communication network. And I've reprogrammed our weather control satellites to broadcast the disruption pattern across the system," added Sanjay. Walsh looked skeptical. "Even if we jam their comms, they still outgun us by orders of magnitude." Maya smiled. "That's why we're not going to fight them. We're going to troll them." The plan was audacious, perhaps even foolhardy. But as the deadline approached, the people of New Terra rallied with a uniquely human response to overwhelming odds. Defiance mixed with creativity. When the massive alien vessel approached again, exactly one local day later, Maya opened the channel herself. "This is Commander Maya Chen of New Terra. We've considered your proposal to harvest our world and have prepared our response." The alien commander's mandibles clicked impatiently. "Your submission is acknowledged. Prepare for..." Maya cut the transmission and instead broadcast something else entirely. A continuous loop of an ancient Earth entertainment. People dancing to never-ending music from centuries past, accompanied by strobing lights precisely calibrated to the aliens' visual sensitivity range. Simultaneous with this bizarre transmission, every satellite, probe, and automated system in the New Terra system began broadcasting the jamming frequency designed by Sanjay and O'Malley's teams. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The perfect formation of the alien fleet faltered. Ships began to drift out of position. Some fired weapons seemingly at random, their energy beams shooting harmlessly into empty space. "They're in disarray," Reza reported, unable to keep the amazement from his voice. "Their coordination is breaking down." Maya nodded to Walsh's hologram. "You're up, Captain." The Dauntless, accompanied by 3 retrofitted mining ships, accelerated toward the command vessel. As they approached, they broadcast the jamming signal at maximum power, creating a corridor of confusion through the alien fleet. Aboard his ship, Captain Walsh watched the massive alien vessels thrash about like confused insects. Many simply drifted, seemingly unable to function without the network connection. Others fired weapon systems that immediately malfunctioned, some even damaging nearby swarm ships. They've never encountered this kind of attack, Walsh realized. They've conquered through overwhelming force, never needing to adapt. The small human flotilla reached the alien command ship unchallenged. It was trying to reestablish control, broadcasting its carrier wave with increasing power, making it an even easier target to locate. "Deploy the packages," Walsh ordered. From the mining ships, dozens of small pods were launched, each containing a simple but effective payload. Mining explosives reconfigured to detonate on impact, targeted at what Sanjay had identified as communication nodes on the massive vessel's hull. The explosions weren't powerful enough to destroy the ship, but they didn't need to be. Each detonation disrupted another portion of the command vessel's ability to coordinate the fleet. The alien commander reestablished contact with Vigilant, compound eyes flashing with what Maya interpreted as confusion and rage. "What is the meaning of this inefficient resistance? Your tactics are incomprehensible. You cannot prevail against the swarm." Maya smiled into the camera. "We humans have a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. You came expecting easy prey, but you found wolves instead." As she spoke, the human fleet continued its assault, not trying to destroy the vastly superior alien vessels, but simply disrupting their ability to function as a coordinated force. Mining lasers cut through communication arrays. Retrofitted shuttles deployed clouds of reflective particles that scattered the aliens' targeting systems. Each human ship acted independently, following a loose plan but adapting on the fly to changing circumstances, displaying the individual initiative and creative problem-solving that the hive-like swarm couldn't comprehend. "You face extinction," the alien commander insisted, though the transmission was now breaking up. "Submit." "No," Maya replied simply. "We will not submit today, tomorrow, or ever. That's what you don't understand about humans. We don't measure survival by the odds. We measure it by our refusal to surrender." As the first day of battle ended, the swarm remained in disarray. The human defenders had suffered losses, 8 ships destroyed, hundreds of lives lost. But they had achieved the impossible. They had fought the swarm to a standstill. Maya looked out at the stars from Vigilant's observation deck, knowing that the real battle had only just begun. The swarm would adapt eventually. But so would humanity. And in the race to adapt, she bet on humans every time. Humanity's ingenuity unleashed. Dawn broke over New Terra's capital city of promise, painting the sky in hues of amber and crimson. From his makeshift command center in an underground bunker, Captain Walsh watched the feed from orbital drones, showing the swarm vessels still struggling to reorganize. "They're adapting," he noted grimly. "Establishing localized command structures. We got maybe 6 hours before they launch a coordinated counterattack." On the main screen, Commander Maya Chen nodded from her position on Vigilant. "Then we accelerate to Phase 2. How's progress?" Engineer O'Malley's face appeared in a side window. "We've converted 80% of the atmospheric processors. They're ready to go on your command." "And the civilians?" Maya asked. Governor Santiago answered from her own bunker across the city. "Emergency protocols are in effect. Everyone is in shelter or evacuated to the southern continent." Maya took a deep breath. "All right, let's show these bugs what happens when you threaten a human world." Over the past 12 hours, New Terra had transformed from a peaceful colony into a planetary fortress. Guided by the insights from the first engagement, the defenders had realized several crucial facts about the swarm. They relied heavily on direct commands from hierarchy. They had never encountered electronic warfare of human sophistication. And most critically, they were completely unprepared for humanity's trademark adaptability. Dr. Mehta had made another discovery by analyzing the debris from a damaged swarm vessel. Their hull contains organic components sensitive to specific electromagnetic frequencies. It's actually part of their sensing apparatus. This revelation had sparked O'Malley's most audacious plan. New Terra had been terraformed decades earlier using massive atmospheric processors, devices designed to convert the alien atmosphere into breathable air by altering molecular structures. These processors normally operated at low power, merely maintaining the atmosphere now that terraforming was complete. O'Malley had reconfigured them to emit the exact frequencies that would irritate the organic components of the swarm ships. Activation in 3, 2, 1. O'Malley counted down, then pressed a sequence on her tablet. Across New Terra, 200 atmospheric processors simultaneously switched to maximum output, projecting an invisible but powerful electromagnetic field designed to affect the swarm's organic technology. The effect was immediate. Hundreds of alien vessels that had been hovering over key population centers suddenly lurched, their hulls rippling as if in pain. Many retreated to higher orbits, while others fired weapons seemingly at random. "It's working," Riza exclaimed from his station on Vigilant. But the celebration was premature. A new signal cut through the jamming, stronger and operating on shifting frequencies that evaded disruption. On screens throughout the human command centers, the alien commander appeared again, but different. Additional appendages were visible, and its exoskeleton had darkened to a deep purple. "Your resistance exceeds predicted parameters," it stated, voice modulation indicating what might be respect. "The swarm acknowledges your species' unexpected capabilities. However, adaptation is complete. Prepare for final harvesting." As if to emphasize the point, a massive energy buildup registered on vigilance sensors. 5 of the largest swarm vessels moved into formation, combining their weapons into a single devastating beam aimed directly at Promise. "They're targeting the capital," Maya shouted. "Evacuation status." "Not complete," Santiago replied, voice tight with stress. "We need more time." Maya turned to Walsh. "Captain, we need that contingency now." Walsh nodded grimly. Dauntless moving into position. Distraction teams activated. What followed was the most desperate gambit in the brief history of New Terra's defense. The Dauntless, humanity's only true warship in the system, accelerated toward the formation of swarm vessels preparing to fire on the capital. Meanwhile, 12 retrofitted mining ships separated into 3 groups, each approaching different sections of the swarm fleet. "Equals, they're throwing everything at us," Santiago observed, watching the tactical display. "Not everything," Maya replied. "Just enough to make them look the wrong way." The mining ships suddenly began ejecting clouds of debris, processed ore from their cargo holds, mixed with components from dismantled equipment. To swarm sensors, it appeared as chaotic junk. In reality, each piece had been carefully calculated to create a scattered electromagnetic field that disrupted the swarm's coordination when they passed through it. As swarm vessels moved to intercept the mining ships, the Dauntless approached the 5-ship formation targeting Promise. Instead of attacking, however, it broadcast a tight beam transmission directly to the lead vessel, a complex mathematical proof, followed by a simple question in the swarm's own communication protocol. Why harvest when cooperation yields greater resources? The transmission had been crafted by Dr. Meta based on patterns observed in the swarm's communications. It was designed not to threaten but to confuse, to introduce a logical paradox into a system that operated on rigid efficiency. The beam targeting Promise wavered as the lead vessel processed this unexpected communication. That moment of hesitation was all O'Malley needed. From a hidden facility beneath Promise's central plaza, she activated what her team had nicknamed the Disruptor, a cobbled-together device built from parts of New Terra's quantum communication array. It emitted a focused pulse designed to temporarily override the swarm's control systems. The 5 swarm vessels shuddered, their combined weapon failing as system conflicts cascaded through their network. 3 of the ships collided, causing massive damage to each other. "Now," Maya ordered. From launch sites across New Terra's surface, 2,000 small drones shot upward, simple machines hastily constructed from civilian technology and loaded with a single devastating payload, a virus designed by New Terra's best programmers, based on Dr. Meta's analysis of the swarm's communication protocols. The drones weren't trying to destroy the swarm ships. Instead, they attached to hull surfaces and began broadcasting the virus directly into the vessel's systems. The virus didn't attempt to shut down the ships, a task likely impossible given the aliens' advanced technology. Instead, it introduced subtle errors into their coordination network, causing confusion rather than failure. Swarm vessels began to fire on each other, interpreting nearby ships as threats due to the corrupted identification protocols. The elegant formation that had entered the system dissolved into chaos as ship fought ship. Command structures failed, and confusion reigned. Aboard Vigilant, Maya watched with grim satisfaction. "Send the message," she ordered. Once again, the communication channel to the alien commander opened. But this time, it was Governor Santiago who spoke. "This is Governor Elena Santiago of New Terra. Your attack on our world has failed. We offer you one opportunity to withdraw. Refuse, and we will be forced to demonstrate the full extent of human ingenuity." The commander's compound eyes flickered rapidly, what Dr. Meta had identified as their equivalent of extreme agitation. "Impossible. The swarm has harvested 47 worlds. We cannot be defeated by primitives." Santiago smiled. "We're not primitives. We're humans. And you've just discovered what that means." She nodded to someone off-screen, and suddenly every communication device in the system broadcast a new signal, the complete code of the virus that was currently crippling the swarm fleet, along with detailed explanations of its function and the weaknesses it exploited. We're giving this knowledge to every species in the galaxy, Santiago continued. The swarm's technical vulnerabilities, communication protocols, and coordination weaknesses, all free for anyone to use. Your days of harvesting worlds are over. The alien commander's mandibles clicked rapidly in what might have been the equivalent of speechless shock. You would share strategic advantages. This violates all logical protocols of survival. Captain Walsh, now standing beside Santiago in the bunker, laughed. That's humanity for you. We'd rather help our neighbors build better locks than let a thief keep operating. For long moments, the alien commander was silent. Then, with visible effort, it straightened its posture. The swarm acknowledges defeat in this system. Your methods are incomprehensible but effective. We will withdraw. And the other worlds you've targeted, Maya demanded. The harvesting will be reconsidered. Your species presents new variables that require evaluation. Within hours, the swarm began to retreat. Damaged vessels were touted by those still functional. The massive command ship was the last to leave, broadcasting a final message as it departed. Humans, you defend with laughter in the face of overwhelming force. Your ships are inferior yet prevail. Your tactics defy tactical analysis. The swarm will study this encounter. We may return not as harvesters, but as students. The celebration on New Terra lasted for days. Despite significant damage to orbital infrastructure and some settlements, casualties had been remarkably light given the scale of the threat they'd faced. In the aftermath, as reconstruction began, Maya found herself standing with Walsh, Santiago, O'Malley, and Meta on a hilltop overlooking Promise. The city showed scars from the conflict, but already repair drones swarmed over damaged buildings. They'll be back, won't they? Santiago asked quietly. Probably, Walsh acknowledged, or someone like them. The galaxy seems to be a more crowded place than we thought. Maya watched the sunset paint the sky in colors no different than before the invasion. Then we'll be ready. And next time, we won't just defend New Terra. What do you mean? Meta asked. Maya smiled, the same expression she'd worn when facing down the swarm commander. I mean, we're taking the fight to the stars. Earth needs to know what we've discovered. The colonies need to be prepared. And there are probably other species out there who could use our help against harvesters and conquerors. O'Malley chuckled. From colony to crusaders in one swoop. Very human of us. Exactly, Maya replied, her gaze fixed on the first stars becoming visible. Very human indeed. And that's what the swarm and anyone else needs to understand. Humanity doesn't just survive threats. We emerge stronger from them. As night fell over New Terra, Maya knew with absolute certainty that this was just the beginning. Humanity had faced its first true interstellar threat, and not merely survived but triumphed through the very qualities that define them: creativity, adaptability, cooperation, and a stubborn refusal to submit even against impossible odds. The swarm had come expecting to find easy prey, and instead discovered a species that laughed in the face of overwhelming force. They wouldn't make that mistake again. Neither would anyone else who threatened humanity among the stars.